Okay, so today we're gonna dig into a piece of technology that could, and I mean really could, change everything. It's a completely new way of looking at something we use every single day, and it might just solve one of our planet's biggest, and you could say, thirstiest problems. So I want you to just look at this number for a second. 30 to 40%. I mean, that's a huge chunk of something, right? But what is it? It's not a tax rate, it's not market share, it's something way, way bigger. Yep, get this, up to 40% of all the energy we use on the entire planet is spent doing one thing, moving water around. And if that's not crazy enough, that demand is expected to double in the next 20 years. This is the massive, global-scale problem that this new invention is designed to fix. So how in the world do you even begin to tackle an energy problem that big? Well, you don't just try to make a slightly better pump. You have to throw out the old playbook and rethink the whole idea from the ground up. And this is where the science gets really, really cool. The secret sauce here is something called pulse detonation. Now forget everything you know about spinning motors and gears. Instead, I want you to picture a tiny, perfectly controlled explosion. A supersonic wave that creates a shockwave moving at nearly 5 times the speed of sound. It's basically harnessing the physics of a rocket engine to move liquid. And the person who figured this out? Vance L. Turner. This isn't just some random guy in a garage. We're talking about a former NASA innovator who actually worked on the agency's supercomputers that helped advance hypersonics. So yeah, he's taking that rocket science and pointing it right at one of our biggest problems here on Earth. So how does this thing actually move water? It's this beautiful, powerful 4-step cycle. First, water gets pulled into a chamber. Second, a tiny little puff of hydrogen and oxygen gas is injected. Third, detonation. A hypersonic shockwave blasts the water out with incredible force. And fourth, and this is the genius part, the steam from that little explosion instantly cools and condenses, creating a powerful vacuum that sucks the next gulp of water right in. Pressure out, vacuum in. It's a perfect loop. And you can see that exact cycle right here. This is a diagram straight from the US patent. You can see the chamber filling up, the detonation creating that immense pressure pushing everything out, and then that vacuum pulling the next cycle right in. It's just so simple and elegant. And when you put it side by side with what we use now, the difference is just staggering. You know, traditional pumps are clunky, they're complicated, they're full of pistons and impellers and things that break. This new design, it has almost no moving parts, just a couple of simple valves. That means less to go wrong, a much longer lifespan, and an efficiency that old pumps, well, they just can't even dream of touching. Now I know what you might be thinking. This sounds great on paper, but is it real? Absolutely. A small, dedicated team has been hard at work turning this patent into actual working prototypes, and the results, well, they speak for themselves. The progress they've made is just incredible. The very first prototype back in 2017 was already hitting 35% efficiency. A year and a half later, they jumped to 48%, and by mid-2019, the third generation was already clocking in at over 55% efficiency. They are proving this concept works, and it works better with every single iteration. And look, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's a quote from the inventor himself, Vance Turner. Just let this sink in. Moved more water for less energy than has ever been recorded. This isn't just a small improvement. It's literally a world record. Of course, technology this groundbreaking is gonna have some hurdles. You need special metals that can handle the heat, super durable valves, and computer controls that work in milliseconds. But here's the key. These aren't deal breakers. These are well-understood engineering challenges that just need focused, targeted work to solve. The path forward is clear. So, we've got a proven, record-shattering piece of tech. The next logical question is, where can you use it? And the answer is, pretty much everywhere. The potential is honestly hard to wrap your head around. Just look at the size of these markets. We're talking up to $13 billion a year in oil and gas, $20 billion in aerospace and defense, and the overall industrial pump market, a whopping $75 billion every single year. This tech isn't aiming for some tiny niche, it's going after the heart of global industry. But you don't just jump into a $75 billion market. You've got to be smart. The plan is to start with high-value areas where this pump's advantages are a no-brainer. Think about creating vacuums for making computer chips, where you need things to be perfectly clean, or desalination plants, where a huge boost in efficiency could dramatically lower the cost of fresh water. Okay, the technology is real. The market is enormous. But there's one last piece of the puzzle, one key that's needed to unlock this whole multi-billion-dollar future. $10 million. That's the number. That's the figure needed to get this technology out of the lab and into the real world. And what does that $10 million buy? Well, the goal is crystal clear. Take the working prototype they have now and turn it into a commercial model that's ready for mass production. And they plan to do it all in under 2 years. So let's just put this all into perspective. On one side, you have a $10 million investment. And on the other side, access to markets worth tens of billions annually. But, even bigger than that is the potential to cut global energy use by at least 15%. I mean, that's the real prize here. Which leads you to this really profound question. We hear all the time about green technology, but what if the biggest breakthrough of all wasn't in solar panels or wind turbines, but in something as basic as the pump? Something that could make almost every industry on Earth more efficient. Some have called this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, an investment that's not just about the money, but about being a genuine game changer, both for industry and for the planet. And that is a powerful thought to leave you with.